So welcome back to another episode, and by popular demand this car is back. And after the previous episode where I was asking if anyone wanted to go stage 3.5 with this car, the comments were resounding yes. So we've gone out and got ourselves an exhaust system, full Miltek exhaust system, 2.5 inch all the way from the turbo back. We've obviously got a double Decat pipe on here already with a pre-cap pipe. Going to look under there, might not run this sports cap pipe which we've got on here. I'll show you in a minute. So it's going to take you around the car. We're going to start it up as it is with the stock exhaust. At the minute it's choking a little bit, so we've obviously got the stock exhaust on the back here. The car's pretty much stock stage 1 at the minute, so we can turn the boost up a little bit more now. So as you can see, we've just got stock exhaust system up and then a double Decat pipe, and when we're going on boost at the minute it's just choking up. I don't know if the baffles are falling apart inside, but sounds like it's struggling. This exhaust system is going to free up a little bit of horsepower, and then we'll be able to get a bigger intercooler on there. So obviously that being the next one, get an intercooler on there, get a bigger MAF sensor injectors on there. We've got the VXR turbo already, and then we'll be able to turn this boost up. So at the minute we're only running 15 psi stage 1, and then we'll be able to turn it up a little bit more. So onto the exhaust system now. You can see we've got a full 2.5 inch exhaust from the obviously the pre-cap back. We've got a pre-cap on there already, a Decat pre-cap pipe. You can see here we've got the 2.5 inch with a flexi and a sports cap. Now we've got a double Decat on there at the minute, so going to probably leave that one off and just put that one in for the MOTs obviously. You can see this exhaust has done hardly any mileage at all. It was bought brand new and done not a lot of mileage, and they changed over to a 3-inch exhaust. The thing I like about it is obviously we've got the resonator, because we want to keep this car sort of stealth like, you know, it still looks stealth, and it's pretty much standard wheels, no flashy parts. So we've got the resonator in there, and we've got a nice big back box, so that's going to quieten it down a lot. But the most important part about it is, for the stealth look, we have almost a standard looking exhaust tip. You can see, I know it says Miltek on it, and that's the only thing really giving it away, but you can see it's pretty much exactly the same looking as the stock exhaust tip. So from a distance no one's ever going to be able to tell it's got an exhaust system on it, and it shouldn't be too loud either, so that won't give it away until you're on boost. So it's going to be a nice stealth boost bus. Obviously now the engine bay is going to get modified, cleaned up. You can see there's like some oil spray or whatever, vapours coming out of the breather. They always leak out of here. We're going to address an issue that's going on at the minute. Obviously we're going to change this airbox for a high flow filter, but it sounds like there's a pulley down here somewhere that's got some flat bearings. I'm going to start the car up so you can hear it. I just won't be able to talk while I start the car up, so I'm going to start the car up now. What I'm going to do is pull off the auxiliary belt as well, to see if it's actually from the auxiliary side of it, which I'm pretty sure it will be. If not, I'll check the cam belt side of it. But you'll hear it's almost like a whining sort of supercharger type noise when you start it up, and it's just getting worse. So obviously one of the pulleys have gone, and we have to replace that. So car's still on cold start, even though it's 30 degrees today. But you can hear, might even be the aircon pump. So if it is, I'll just pull that lot off and do an aircon delete. So I'm going to pull this airbox out quickly and have a look, take the auxiliary belt off as I say. Right, so I've just removed the auxiliary belt, you can see here, and you can hear that the engine's back to going quiet again now. So we've obviously got an issue up here with one of the pulleys. It's either the tensioner, the alternator, or the aircon pump. I'm going to go with the tensioner first, because they always sort of flatten off. So now we've got removed that, I'm going to start moving things about. Right, so I just pulled that tensioner off the car, well the actual pulley off the tensioner, and the bearing's absolutely shot. I mean, you can't feel it, and it's quite hard to spin and hold it at the same time. So you can proper hear this. Them bearings are flat, and there's actually a bit of a wobble on my finger as well. So that was knackered, and luckily I had this one laying around. Well, I knew I had one, but I normally take these off for aircon delete, so I kept this one as just a spare. But this one's quiet as a mouse, so even a second hand it'd do. Go on, and that noise will go now, because that was making a proper racket. Right, while we're under here as well, and we'll just change that pulley out. See it just about there. We might as well change this pulley as well, stock pulley, while the alternator belt's off. And I've got a stock bottom pulley size that's a lot lighter. This one here, obviously the aluminium one, you can see how much lighter that one is without even being able to pick it up. It's not an underdrive pulley, it's a stock size as I say, so it will just bolt straight on. So when you go to fit these pulleys, don't be tempted to elongate the holes. The amount of them I come in and they've been filed out. So the bolt holes don't line up, as you can see, in all positions. So you need to keep spinning it round It's a bit like a flywheel as well, until all the bolt holes line up like that. But if I spun it around a couple more times, the different bolt holes, they wouldn't line up at all. There's only really one position that they can line up in. So don't be tempted to file these out. I've seen some with like big cutouts and everything in there, just going to make it unbalanced. So when you upgrade to the billet pulleys, I always upgrade to a little bit longer bolt as well. So I upgrade to these 12.9 tensile strength bolts. And they're a little bit longer, as you can see, so they go into the crank a little bit better. Just little upgrades so that they don't snap off, especially as they're lighter weight ones, and they can cause a little bit of vibration. So as I keep saying, while we're here, I'm going to upgrade this, upgrade that. These are just bits that I've got laying around, so it's an absolutely perfect car to just chuck all this lot on. You can see this is a 2.2 SRI airbox, and I'm going to put this one straight in, and you can see the difference between the two. Obviously the Z20 let, the one goes over the back of the rocker cover, where this one comes where you direct air feed. Now the good thing about the 2.2 is it's a 70mm. You can just stick a 70mm MAF in there. When I go to 80mm MAF, we'll just run an air filter. So just going to stick that airbox in there, and the added bonus is obviously we've got a K&N air filter in there as well, as opposed to a stock filter in there at the minute, which is just a stage 3. On the stage 3 we need that, and you can see that this is restrictive at the minute, and normally I just pull these out, a little bit more airflow. And you can see the problem is this crossover pipe goes across the top of the rocker cover, comes back down like spaghetti junction. But the main part about it is this rocker cover gets roasting hot. This is the intake for the car. You know, it gets really, really hot as well. It's aluminium. Aluminium absorbs heat really well. So having a direct air feed, just getting here, straight air feed coming straight out of here. You can see you've got the enlarged intake in there already from the Vectra. So that's going to keep nice cool air going into the engine. All we've got to do is extend this MAF sensor. So we've got to extend the wire into about here. So I'm going to chop that up, start extending it. I don't like the little plugs and all that. It causes resistance in the MAF sensor, and obviously ends up having issues with readings, so I'm going to do that properly. So as I said to you, these parts for the Astra Gs and the Zafira As, they're pretty much interchangeable. Obviously not everything, because the body shell's a bit different, but the chassis and other parts, and like these airbox, this is off an Astra G 2.2 SRI, and you can see it bolts straight in to the usual places, fits great, and then the lid fits great as well. So we've got a nice 2.2 direct air feed in there now, so we bypass that rocker cover. Now I've only got this blue intake at the minute. Obviously this is going to be ideal for the 80mm MAF sensor that we're going to be going on the stage 3.5, but currently we're on a 70mm MAF sensor. So what I've done is just made up an adapter so that we can actually fit that in, and it seals properly inside there. So now we can get this in, because this bolts, well not bolts, this goes straight inside the stock airbox like that, 70mm, and then this upgrade. So once obviously we need to get rid of this airbox, then we'll just change over to 80mm and an air filter. But for now I don't like the air intake. I wanted to keep it a little bit more stealth, because obviously the air intakes are very noisy, and I will look out for a CDTI one, or see if I can actually modify this 2.2 one to take the 80mm MAF sensor. Right, there we go. So the intake's all sorted now. I ain't extended this MAF wiring yet. I just want to start it up before I did, because it's starting to get late, and I want to get an exhaust note for the pre-exhaust and after exhaust. So stock exhaust note, and then obviously one with a Miltek as well. You can see I've got a black breather pipe there joining to a blue intake. These are bits I just had laying around, so I might as well put them on. 2.2 airbox, and obviously the K&N panel filter in there, so it's going to breathe well now, as well as the exhaust system, and we ain't got all that heat going over the rocker cover. Can paint all that up. I'm going to get a hard pipe as well, because these suck shut. Obviously once you stamp on the throttle and there's no boost in the intake, these suck shut. But yeah, going to get a hard pipe for that, maybe a top hat as well, or maybe just paint that one up, never know. So no more supercharger wind down there as well now. You can hear that bearing's gone. I knew there was something up, had to be sorted. So we've got the lightened pulley on there now, so that's spinning away. So we're a couple of little upgrades now. We get this exhaust on, and obviously we've got the 88 tyres on there, give us some grip. So I don't know if you can hear, but the baffles in this box, might be able to hear it, the back box, there's probably original box on there, I would imagine. They've started to go. Obviously now we've increased the boost, so it's a perfect time to upgrade this exhaust, and it's started to sound a little bit trashy. You can hear it's choking on boost at the minute as well, so nice free flowing exhaust. Now we've got the intake on there. Right, so as I said, this car's already got a double Decat pipe. You can see up here it's got the pre-cat Decat, and then obviously a Decat pipe the whole way along. So we're not going to change that one. We're going to use the catback exhaust that's on there, that's on the floor here. So we won't use this section here because I'm just going to destroy this cat anyway. We're just going to put this in for MOTs. Because, you know, hard cut or whatever, you know, pops and bangs just destroys these. It's pointless even using them on the road. So I'm just going to go with a catback. Nice quiet exhaust system, as I said, and going to get this bolted on. So we've got all the gaskets and the rubbers and everything, so we should be able to drop this off pretty quickly. Shouldn't take too long. It's probably going to be properly seized up, but you can see the size of that silencer. So that's the silencer obviously we're taking off that really restricts these cars. And then obviously we're just putting it with this resonator, we're replacing it with that, so it'll have a bit more of a deeper tone. So you can see this is actually the original GM silencer, which they do pretty good. You know, most of it's stainless as well, so it's nice and easy to undo. You can see where I've got the AFR gauge in the secondary lambda there. That's all going to be removed now because that's not needed in the car. That was just needed for mapping. And then the rear lambda is actually blanked off, so you can see that I've cable tied that over there. So that's don't have to go back into the system, so I can unplug that. But the whole of this underneath is just a giant silencer, and then when I looked at the back box as well, it's got a slight hole in it. I've removed that and I'll just show you that now. So let's get this off. So this is the size difference between the two exhausts. Now you can see that's the 2.5 inch exhaust, obviously give us the much better exhaust flow, and then there's stock exhaust, which is about, I think it's 2.25, but at some parts it tapers down to 2 inch. And it's really restrictive. Obviously good for the standard boost or whatever. You can see the comparison there. I don't know why they split it into two, maybe just to make it easy to fit, or maybe easier to get over the rear beam. You can see this one's had it now. Been on a long time, but they last a long time. It's done whatever amount of thousand of miles, 80,000 miles, and it's still good. You know, it still works fine. It's just no good for what we're doing, no great uprated power. Well, here's a comparison between the Miltek back box and the stock back box that's come off it. You can see there's a lot of difference there. If anything, you know, the Miltek back box might be a little bit bigger. Don't know about that, but you can see inside the Miltek exhaust, the actual tailpipe itself is baffled as well, which gives these exhausts a really nice note. When you have an exhaust, obviously when the tailpipe is not baffled, you can get like a bit of raspiness, but on these Milteks, you know, they do go the extra mile to make them a good sounding exhaust. You can see the tip is pretty much identical to the stock one as well, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe like, you know, a centimetre bigger, but it's not really makes that much difference, but it gives that stealth look still that we're going to go for. And if anything, this back box was absolutely knackered and I didn't even realise it, so it's only been a recent thing because I was under there not long ago, but you can see it's got a hole in it. So that hole has been leaking water and obviously leaks back pressure, and it's probably when we turned the boost up that happened. It probably blew out, so that's a good job we are replacing it. You can see there's like a lot of water and condensation in there, and also you can't really hear it, but it's rattling as well in there, so the baffles are all knackered. Here's a little tip for when you're trying to get the exhaust rubbers on. Obviously sometimes they get stuck, you know, if they're really tight fitting exhaust rubber. Get yourself some WD-40 or lube or whatever and lube the rubbers up before you try and slide them in. And also do the same when you're getting them out as well. Just use a screwdriver to prime off, and it makes life so much easier. Just a little bit of lube will make the job 10 times faster. Right, so there we go. The exhaust is all fitted. You can see we've got a double Decat pipe on there now at the front. Goes all the way through, 2.5 inch straight through to the Miltek catback. And the Miltek system, it really fits well. You can see why you pay your money for the Miltek. I never used to like them on my cars because they wasn't loud enough, but for a stealth car like this, obviously we've got this massive silencer in here, and it's all fitting absolutely spot on. And if I show you, like, obviously where the tailpipe fits as well, it's basically, as you see, just a larger version of the stock tailpipe, almost the same. You wouldn't even be able to tell, you know, most people would never be able to tell. You can see underneath how well that silencer fits, and it's a nice big silencer as well. Goes over the beam, no knocks, rattles. I've moved it about, wiggled it about, got all the mounts on there and that, so that fits spot on now. So let's get this thing started up so you can hear it. probably hard to tell, but the exhaust note is a lot deeper. But good thing is, it's still quiet, so you know it's not going to be asbo. People ain't really going to know what's going on, especially when it's stage 3. It's going to sound exactly the same. So listen up close, sounds good. I'm going to get a couple of little drive-by videos as well, just to end the video out. This nice new exhaust system, so now we can start getting ready to put an intercooler on there, up the boost. So obviously this car's now got a upgraded intake system and obviously upgraded exhaust as well. And it's going to have some learned values still from when it was driving around with the stock intake and the stock exhaust. Obviously a lot less free flowing, and we learn different fuel trims, etc. So the way to do it is just disconnect the ECU for about half an hour, just at the plugs, don't have to disconnect the battery or anything, so then you've got to redo all the clocks and everything. So just disconnect these, let it lose all its memory, and then you can plug these back in and it will start from scratch again. Obviously you can do it with a laptop as well. This is for people that haven't got the hardware. So last thing to do is extend this MAF sensor wire, and you can see it fits, but it's too tight. You can see any engine movement, that's going to pull that out. So we only need to add like 2 inches in there, just to give it that extra bit of movement, so that it doesn't obviously pull out when you're coming under boost, because obviously the engine's going to be rocking backwards and forwards. Right, there we go, MAF sensor wiring completed. You can see there's like loads of slack in there now. No problem now with the obviously engine movement or whatever, so we've got loads of slack. I extended it probably about 3 inches, and that's about the right. And I'll turn this boot around as well, so it goes directly down there instead of around and whatever the stock one looks like. So I always try to come to this place down the back of this industrial estate. It's like a private road area. It's really hot today, so I turn the camera around and you can see it's absolutely roasting. Proper glorious day. Anyone in the UK know, I think it's about 30 odd degrees out here today. So I'll get a couple of little pulls from inside the car, one from outside the car, but I don't want to do too much because we are obviously on a stock intercooler. So this is the major problem we've got at the minute, but it sounds lovely at the minute. I'll do a little first gear quickly. Screams in first gear. There you go. Hey, that sounds nice. Picks up really nice now. Don't feel like it's choking at all. So I think anyone who lives around this area will know this road. You can see the skid marks, tyre marks, burnout marks in the road. I'm going to do a couple of little pulls, just so you can hear the exhaust noise. Right, so we're over here at the normal area where I like to take videos of. I thought it'd be a perfect place to end out the episode of this car. Been active throughout the last couple of weeks, been trying to get as many videos up as possible for the channel. So we've been doing all different cars. Let me know which one you've been preferring. Obviously everyone's going to have their own personal choice. I've been getting messages of everyone loves this one, or where's the Fiesta Turbo, where's the Evo. I can't please everyone. It's a beautiful day, so I thought I'd come over, end this video out over here. It's really hot day today. That's why I don't want to do too many pulls in the car. You're only going to get better. I'm going to get a big intercooler on there now. So join me in another episode when we get the intercooler on this. That'll be the next episode, and then we'll turn up the boost a little bit more.